Hi guys, FrostFangs here, back with another Paladins video, playing some Lillith today, the Heartless. Never realised that was their tagline. She is my least played support by quite a large margin, only beaten out least played champion wise by Omen, and that's by a tiny amount. I did tweak and perfect the build, and this is pretty much what I'm going to be running until she gets changed in the future, because yeah, this is perfect for what I'm doing. It's very close to what it always has been for Lillith with Blood Cannon, Symbiotic and Waning Moon. You want these two cards in there, they work really well together, and just give you extra heals pretty much for sort of free. Nearly. The only real difference to before is the levels being moved around a bit, and Enriched Blood, which I would recommend level 2 because it just gives you 8% extra damage and healing, and the duration doesn't matter too much most of the time. I do see her played a hell of a lot by people who really like Lillith, and then the people who would pick up occasionally and not do necessarily that well with her, I see much less often. But TDM thrown here, shouts out to Andrew, we've got Khan, Sati and Charlene. For the talent here though, Cursed Accord, the team for the enemy side you can see there, will just go straight in and grab the setup. That is what we're running. It's going to be a quick TDM, but she does quite well here. We don't really need Chrono. She's one of the only supports I think I don't grab it on. We'll go Nimble and Veteran. Get Haven Morale Boost too, probably. Definitely can get Chronos on her, you just don't really need it. You can definitely get away without it. It does help a little bit depending on what you're up against and what you're playing with, but I think most of the time you're going to be fine. Also not going to try and do damage at all really in this one. It's going to focus on heals, although we will do a little bit when I get a chance. We're going to just jump away here. I don't really know how to place myself. We're going to help out Charlene, who's like semi-AFK. I'm dead to Evie, but I like her a lot. Even though I don't play her, that was what I was trying to say in the intro, I find her to be a really fun character who often does really well, and just for whatever reason, I don't pick her up. I think it is just her kit overall. I'm probably dead here to the Ash. I don't know how I'm not already gone. We're going to jump away. I don't know how the self-heal there made me tank that. The only problem I would really point out, there goes Octavia, don't know if Khan even threw her there, is that you do have to sort of rebind a key. You can't have your Q actually bound to your Q because it feels really awkward, and you have to put it on your mouse, which isn't that much of a problem. Rip Ash, get the last little cheeky hit in there. Charlene's just off as well. This game is very hectic. We're going to go for the ult. I don't know if I really needed to there. Her ult gen's pretty quick. You might as well just spam it whenever you have it in like any sort of team fight, really. We'll just move in. Hello, Ash. Okay, I just got stunned. I'm still on, somehow. Here they're on the invisible Sadi. She's still gone. Charlene jumping off the map for the second time. This is definitely a Paladins game. Don't know what I'm really doing here, but we'll jump around. I feel like this is a bit too hectic for Lillith. I think she does a little bit better in onslaughts and sieges. Sieges where I tend to do much better with her compared to most healers, but I think we're kind of fine anywhere. On a TDM that's this hectic, actually kind of works against her a little bit. Don't get me wrong, we are still healing for a lot. It's just not an ideal scenario for her, even though I think I'm actually showing her off fine here. Khan is also running away from me a little, which is kind of a shame. I don't know how that didn't get on him, but there's a right click. Sure, want to keep our marks out as long as possible to get the healing. I see people switch way too much on Lillith, and I'd probably do it a little bit more than I should. Definitely the biggest thing I see go wrong with it though when people who don't play that much pick her up is they just right click and use the kit way too much when you kind of have to pace yourself a bit, and the right click specifically works literally against that entire thing. Throw the Q up for him as well. That's Octavia just chilling. Right click on the Andrew. I don't know if I should have switched that. We'll throw the Q up. She's going for the ult. That's fine. We'll leave the mark on the Andrew because he's probably going to take a ton here. Alright, we'll switch it over. It'd be kind of nice if she had the same thing as Corvus where it auto-switched, but probably too good. Don't really need it. You can throw that quite a bit. Am I dead here? Just about. Still up. Throw the ult. You gen it really quickly as well because you deal damage with the Q. It's kind of an insane ability, and it's also been nerfed a ton of times, and yet it's still really, really good. There goes the Ash. We'll switch the mark over. Right click there on him. He is still just about up. Khan saying something in, I think, Russian. I have no idea what that says. We'll right click on the Khan. Just keep throwing the marks down. The team is sort of playing angles well. There's just a lot of ults going out and just constant team fights in this one. Evie's definitely doing the most work. I really haven't been doing much damage. We'll F up. I always forget like an F while charging the Q. It's not something I really do. Have a couple hits. Your damage output on it is actually really solid, especially if you're good with the weapon, which I'm not, but I think as long as you're doing even a little bit, you're going to have quite a decent amount. We'll throw the Q here. Switch over to the Sati. There's the victory. I thought we lost it. I wasn't paying attention. We got the win. Definitely been a while since I played Lillith in a game that hectic, but it worked out. 66k. I'm happy with the stat there. I could have definitely played it better, but yeah, we did our job there as the support. I told you I was going to be focusing on it. We will re-queue. Alright, so for game 2, we've got a Siege Shattered Desert. Shouts out there to Khan. We've got a Genos, Zin, and a Drogos. A few names I recognize here versus Ray, Leon, Caspian, Ying, and Strix. That's always so loud. I'll probably mute it for the video, but if I'm not clicked in the Paladins freaking tab, it just deafens me a little bit. For the talent, going for Cursed Accord, again, I would say Maelstrom works fine. Murderous Intent, I see people do really well with, but for me, I just stick to this one. I'd recommend most people unless you know exactly why you'd want the other two versions. Yeah, this is just the one to go for like standard support. Lillith, Combustible Binary, Yomi, Storm Bullets, Nocturnal, Extension, Precision, Resonance, and Measured Cadence will mark the Zin. I shouldn't be here because this is just a bad spot. Definitely will try and mark the Drogos a bit because I feel like the Jones aren't going to be able to heal them as much. Caspian's just going kind of ham here. We'll reposition a bit. I don't know really where I want to go. I wish I was just better at dealing damage with Lillith because that's the one thing I just always have a hard time with. We'll throw that there. I'm just gone. If I could hit him, I think twice he would have died in that fight, but he was already stacked up. The Drogo's finally getting rid of him there, but we don't really have a good team to deal with somebody like a Caspian in the back line. We have a Drogo's and a Xin who can't really do that sort of job. Big heals there on the Khan, but what I was trying to say is that you definitely don't need a second support as Earth. I feel like most of you guys know that she does really well as a solo sort of thing, but for me personally, I definitely benefit from having somebody else help me out with the heals. The General's maybe a little bit too much because he's definitely very, very heal focused, but a more hybrid support for me works a little bit better, even though it doesn't really make much sense because Earth, I think, is better off in a single support scenario and just fully focused on heals. I'm definitely dead here. We're just going to run out. I've already got the mark on the Genos. That's not a Genos, it's a Xin. I'm dead. Yeah, they've got a pretty crazy team here for us to not be able to deal with. I feel like I should go for the op, but that also doesn't seem like the play. We'll mark the Xin and see if we can do something. She does really, really well with just insane amounts of heals. That's what I'm trying to say. She is a really, really good person to just get massive numbers, but you are very active. You have to put a lot of thought into your Q and your right clicks and sort of playing it much more intentionally than you would play somebody like a General, so you can just sort of throw your mark anywhere. You actually have to think about what you're doing a little bit with Earth and measure out your marks and your Qs and at least pay a little bit of attention. I'm probably dead here though, unless we can somehow get in. Just refresh the mark on him, we'll throw the Q there. I'm just going to dance around trying to avoid the Caspian. I feel like I've done okay at avoiding him. I've only died twice. I think some other people have died like 4 to 5 times already. We'll get some Veteran too. Don't really feel like I need Kronos. We're getting kind of shredded here. We did win that fight a little bit towards the end, but yeah, their Caspian's just going kind of ham, and we can't kill him. And I suppose that was sort of my point with Earth, is that I don't do that well as like anything other than just trying to get really big heal numbers on people, which works out fine a lot of the time, but it would be kind of nice if I was better with the weapon and actually using my stuff other than just like point damage and team heals. We'll go for the ult, see if we can do some him. Don't know if it's going to be relatable for anybody else other than myself though, because when I see people play Earth, I think that's a specific thing they like about her, is that she can sort of do really good team damage and also just generally is a good character for what they're looking for, whereas for me, I'm much more specific in the scenarios where I'm good with it and the specific parts that work out for me. Let's see if we can get rid of the Caspian here. Nope, because I missed the shots. Her weapon just doesn't feel great. It's the reason why I don't like the talent. I think we will have a decent amount of heals with her. Like I said, I typically do quite well with her, at least on the healer side of things, and occasionally I'll have a decent amount of damage if I'm against like a double tank thing. Definitely kind of hard for me to explain, which it shouldn't be, because for every other support I think I can get my thoughts out really, really easily. I really do like Earth, and I think she's a really cool character. It's just for me, in quite a few scenarios I'm in with her, I have a harder time than I definitely should be having. I think it's going to be a 0-4 here, to be honest. I guess we go for the ult, because when else are we going to pop it? There's a mark on the Xin. Khan's on the point. Drogo's ulted. I think he's just kind of dead. Yep, we'll just throw the thing here. Hello, Ying, you're there for some reason. Dead to the Caspian. Caspian definitely won on this game as far as I can tell, but they overall played very well with the double support, sort of full damage, hyper push team. I have to give them props here. There's the 0-4 defeat. I think I did alright, but that sort of really accurately showed the scenarios where I don't feel very comfortable with Earth, and I tend to struggle a little bit. I don't think it would have mattered. I could have been on any support there and we would have lost that one for sure. The heals were not the reason we lost that game. I still had 83k. That is ridiculous if you look at the stats there. 83k is kind of massive. And yeah, just completely by accident, this video has been a perfect example of the things I feel with Earth without me being able to put it into words. Hopefully that somehow got across to you. We did really well there considering what we were trying to deal with in that match. I'm quite happy with that. Shouts out again there to our Khan and also their Ying. When I think about it, her build is one of the most sort of symbiotic ones we've got, which also really plays into her kit, which I think is that kind of idea entirely. The cards really add on to that. I think this build works really well at reinforcing that and feels really good to play. Overall, she feels like a good character to play. For me, just doesn't mesh. That's the best way I can put it, to simplify it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Of course, let me know what you want to see me next, your thoughts on Earth. I'll see you guys all very, very soon. And as always, stay frosty.